Welcome back to Biohacking Beauty. I'm Amitay, co-founder of Young Goose Skincare. And today, we're diving into a topic that's at the core of aging younger: nutrition and hormones. Before we jump in, a quick reminder. If you want to try any of our Young Goose longevity skincare products, you can get 10% off at younggoose.com when you use the code podcast10 during checkout. Just load your cart, and when checking out, add podcast 10 in the right slot. Now, my guest today is Karin Adoni Ben David, a certified nutritionist and health coach, and the founder of the Empowered Nutritionist and Clean Diet by Karin. She's been featured on NBC, Shape, and Women's Health for her work helping people heal their gut, balance their hormones, and build sustainable nutrition habits that actually stick. Karin's approach isn't about fad diets or restriction. It's about using food as a tool to optimize your biology, support your hormones, and slow down the aging process from the inside out. We're going to get into the hormone-skin connection, how your hormones like insulin, cortisol, and estrogen literally show up on your face, and what nutrition strategies you can use to keep your skin and your body biologically younger. Karin is really a treasure trove of knowledge, and it was a very fascinating conversation, and I really hope you're going to enjoy it. Without further ado, please welcome Karin. Okay, Karin, welcome to the Biohacking Beauty podcast.
Hi, thank you so much. It's great being here.
Yeah, I think it's the longest conversation I had pre-podcast.
At least we know we have many topics to talk about.
Yeah, I should do a podcast of conversations pre-podcast. It might be interesting.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because sometimes offline is like more interesting than online.
Yeah. But so I told you that normally I don't do that, but I think your own health journey is pretty interesting, and so I'm maybe we should start with what inspired you to get into nutrition, because you're kind of you kind of have a meteoric rise in popularity. So how did it start? What got you into it?
So what got me is that for me it came from a very personal story. I grew up having like severe eating disorders, which is basically started at a very early age. I was 11. It was a minute ago, so it wasn't like during social media era and all the things that makes it like very easy and fast to grab on. So I struggled with anorexia most of my teen life. From the age of 11 until like 20, I was really like into that. I was consumed by that.
Wow.
I was like fasting, starving myself, taking any supplements, any fat burner that you can think of, legal, illegal.
Wow.
I would do like the cabbage diet, the apple diet, like literally anything you can imagine. I was hospitalized for like a few days. So everything was very extreme for me, but then I also had like that point of view of like, really wanted to be in control and wanted to make sure that everything is like good and great. So that was like a lot of my journey. And then when I was 20, I traveled to the Far East with a good friend of mine. And that was, I think, the first time ever that I had the opportunity to like be present and experience the moment without having a scale in my car, in my bathroom, in every room, without having, my fat burners, without going to the gym 5 times a day, without weighing myself 20 times a day, without weighing the food. Like everything wasn't as, extreme, just because when you change your environment, a lot of things change, and we know that.
Yeah.
But when I came back home, everything came back and all of the demons came back. And it was the same thing. And then I realized that I needed to make a decision whether I'm taking over the disease or the disease will take over my life. And I was like, no, this is not the life I want to live. So I went back to my therapist without lying and, deceiving her and hiding from her. And I started my journey. I quit my job. I was enrolled to like business and fashion and marketing school, which I also dropped, and went to study nutrition, which was never my intention to do as a business, as a profession. It was more of like, okay, let me go heal myself, learn more about the human body. And I was captivated by like what I was learning. And then very quickly I started doing like an internship, like volunteering in many places because I was just so passionate about it. And then that's how it started. And then I feel like a lot of my self-healing and my process was through helping other people. And that's how I found my, I want to say, destiny, my journey, my life fulfillment of helping other people bring, them to the point where they can live their life healthier, better, feel better through nutrition, healthy mindset. And it's been a minute, so it's like from helping people lose weight to people with like minor eating disorders. I believe everyone has like some sort of an unhealthy relationship with food
Yeah.
you need to treat and take care of. But then with the years, a lot of things added, like non-toxic living, also beauty, wellness, mindfulness. I also studied to be like a health coach. So there's a lot of things that went into that. And then that's basically on the tip of the toe. Like I worked with Reebok and Nike, and I manage Reebok sports nutrition department, and I have recipe book and supplements and a team that I manage in groups. So there was a lot of different hats that I wear in this world, and also social media and content creation. But it always comes down to like improving people's life, eating healthier, treating themselves healthier, making good, positive changes for themselves.
Yeah. Do you think it's since there's such a close, link between being obsessive about what comes into your mouth
Yeah.
and having eating disorders, and then obsessing over health and what, even if it's healthy, what comes into your mouth, etc. Do you think it was harder to build a career in health because of that, because of your tendencies to over obsess about it, or was it easy because you could channel kind of your obsession to something positive?
So look, so the thing is this. It's a great question because it's like, as a person, I have a tendency to obsess, but I took my obsession and made it like more positive. Of course, there was times that it wasn't as positive. There were times that it was more positive. It was also went through like stuff, but I always try to like take that obsession and turning it to something positive, learning more, seeing more, figuring out stuff more, understanding connections, helping out people, helping out myself. So I was always like taking it another step further, taking a deeper dive on everything. So eventually it brought me to a very positive place. And I took like that because I do believe, listen, having severe eating disorders and anorexia, it needs a certain personality typecast, like a type A personality, overanalyzer, overthinker, does things in a certain way, which has a lot of advantages and disadvantages, like everything else. So of course it was a battle for me within the years, but at the end of the day, I now bring it to a positive place, knowing where are my weaknesses and knowing where do I fall off from those places.
Yeah. You talk a lot about empowered nutrition.
Yeah.
And how would you describe the difference between empowered nutrition and what does it mean to you? How do you see it differ from any other kind of journey to healthy living?
Because I think, first of all, everything starts like what you eat determines so much,
Yeah.
whether it's like you're sick, whether it's your motivation, whether it's you're depressed, whether it's like everything that you basically do. So a lot of the things is like people don't understand that food is the root cause for so many things.
Yeah.
So is it like your immunity? So your gut bacteria is 70% of your immunity. Is it that we know by studies, and we see in the field, we don't even need studies for that. People that eat well, do not consume ultra processed food, sleep well, hydrate, prioritize their wellness, are less depressed, more motivated, don't get as sick, are not inflamed, don't get metabolic syndromes. Like obesity is not genetic. I'm sorry. This is a BS that the FDA is feeding you to keep everyone in a chronic state. So, and everything comes down to that, because it doesn't matter which supplement you're going to take or which medication you're going to take. The food that you eat 3 times a day, 4 times a day, 5 times a day, once a day, from the moment you're born until you die, have the most significant effect on your health. So if you use it as a tool and as medicine, it's amazing. But when you don't, it's as destructive.
Yeah. And so let's say someone, how do you start with someone? So what do you think are the highest, in order of importance? Like how does the pyramid of nutrition looks like to you? Because obviously it's not what the FDA.
So first of all, for me, FDA is like whatever. I always thought it was whatever. Post-COVID, I think more less of that, but that's a different conversation. And coming from a person who went from the academia and everything else, academics, and I was like, yeah, listen, the interests here are like the money, follow the money. Like we now see things a lot differently. And then, so the thing is this, first of all, and I always said that, cut back ultra processed food. Nothing good happens there. So it doesn't matter, like even when we had, the trend of the veganism or non-meat or whatever it is, I was like, guys, what's most important is not to consume things that are ultra processed, that has an ingredient list of 20, 30 things you can't pronounce, things that looks like a laundry list in a chemistry lab. This shouldn't be consumed. That's the basics of everything. Like whether we want to up protein, lower protein, lose weight, that's first. Because A, you consume more calories. B, it messes up your hunger and satiety level, like your ghrelin and leptin. It messes up with your regular hormones, like your thyroid, your insulin, everything.
Yeah.
So it's like it doesn't matter what I'll do, because people always like, and I remember like when the veganism was, I'm not eating meat, I'm healthy, and then you like look at their plate, it's like ultra processed meat, fake cheese, French fries cooked in like canola oil, and I'm like, okay, we got this so wrong. Even though now it's dropping, but again, it's not the meat, no meat. It's eat real food.
Yeah.
That's the basics.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, there is a direct correlation between that and inflammation. I mean, normally when we talk to people about skin health, you start everything by saying, hey, you can't be chronically inflamed and expect anything to happen. Like,
no, anything positive to happen.
Positive to happen for sure. Even if, people come to us all the time and say, hey, what do you think about, fill in the blank, this specific laser or radio frequency or something along those lines. And basically every machine, what it does, it introduces selective inflammation. Any procedure is supposed to make you look better. It's basically selective inflammation. Well, if you're chronically inflamed, it really doesn't matter how good the treatment is. Your body has no ability to respond to it positively.
Exactly. And it will always come back. Always.
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you talk, do you get a lot of conversations around, hey, I just want to look better, like tell me what to do? My end goal is...
I obviously, especially working with like, not majority, but like, majority women, just because it's like a lot of women, want to lose weight and whatever it is. But because of that reason, a lot of like, I just want to lose weight. This doesn't matter like how I feel. I don't mind not doing it in a healthy way. I was never okay with that. Like even 15 years ago when like, we would, say diet and losing weight is more important than anything else. And calories are just calories, and it's calories in, calories out. Like not that it's not true today, but like, it's not just that. I was never like, I was always about I want you to eat, to lose weight and to be healthy. I teach you how to combine them both. Because losing weight isn't necessarily in the healthy way, and eating healthy without understanding how you should like structure your food wouldn't always necessarily bring you to weight loss, or it will, but not in the results you're looking for, or the amount looking for is as fast as you're looking for. So I always went on that, and always people that was like either pushing or crazy diets, never talked about, nonetheless, like weight loss shots, medications, and all of those things. I was always against it. I never thought there's any shortcuts. And for me, it's first of all, if you be healthy, weight loss is the outcome. If I can get you in a healthy mindset, everything will follow. And that's where it starts.
I agree. How do you see nutrition play in the role of, slowing down the aging process, or, even reversing the aging process? How do you view that?
So I think it's basically, listen, if, like you said, inflammation, anti-aging, cells, inflammation, and aging, and everything, it all starts with there. So listen, there are things that will just happen. We age. That's a part of it. But on the other hand, when you add things with such a, your cells oxidize so fast. You consume, trans fat. You consume ultra processed food. You consume titanium dioxide that changes your DNA. You consume synthetic, artificial sweeteners and food coloring, and you put tons of fragrance on your skin all the time, and whatever it is, those things do change your hormones, your DNA, increase the inflammation in your body. So eventually this will make you age faster in all means. Of course, there's genetics, which is 50%, but 50% is epigenetics, which is basically how your cells will be expressed. And 50% is a lot.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that. And that's got to do with like inflammation, aging, even cancer. The majority of the people think cancer is genetic, which I don't know, don't quote me on the number, but if I remember correctly, I think 90% isn't. It's environmental, which people do not understand, that it's like, yes, there's genetic involved, but what you do is huge and makes a bigger difference than what it is.
Yeah.
You're born in a certain way, but what you do about it, that's everything.
Yeah. So, we are talking about all the things that people consume and are harmful. But there's the flip side of that. A lot of people want, I would say, like, tips on what is kind of let's say a lot of people want to lower inflammation. A lot of people listening to this podcast, one of the main goals that they have is, yes, I understand inflammation is bad for me. I understand it drives aging, whether it's in the skin or in the body. But really what I want is ways to lower inflammation. What are your...
To lower inflammation. Yeah. So the first thing, as I said, is okay. So you remove ultra processed food. Number one, you avoid any seed, like industrial seed oil. So it'll be like canola oil, soy oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil. All of those things from your house completely. Like, you never consume them. You can move to like olive oil, avocado oil, butter, ghee, tallow. I would advise getting like extra virgin, cold pressed, like high quality, because that also makes a difference. But the oils are a big deal. I would look into water. People underestimate the importance of not drinking tap water with chlorine and fluoride and microplastics and so many things. Like, literally just LADWP issued like a report, LA, like water department, of like how many pollutions they have in their water. So, and it's like we're 70% water. So it's kind of important doing that. So whether you have a home filtration system, and if not, under a sink, or just get on the counter, just your water. It's that important. Sleep. It doesn't matter what you do. If you don't prioritize sleep, your body doesn't heal itself. Immunity doesn't reset. Hormones doesn't reset. Your thyroid doesn't function. Nothing happens. Like, when you sleep, everything happens. So those would be like the four major stuff. Now, of course, workouts, exercise, lifting weights, it's anti-aging. But that comes after. Like, sometimes people, I'm going to the gym, but your food is all over the place. You don't sleep well. You drink Diet Coke. You live on coffee all day long. Go to the gym. It's great, but it's like dropping a glass of water into the ocean.
Yeah, I agree. So what would you say? So these are kind of the things to eliminate. And that's definitely the most important. Like, you want to drive the road, doesn't matter what car you drive. If there is a bunch of rocks on the road, you won't be able to drive, right?
Yeah.
So if there are boulders, right? Like you won't be able to. There's no road, right? So you
Yeah.
need to clear the debris first, so you can even drive. But what are some of the foods that you found are, that are the best at lowering inflammation?
So we have basically the high antioxidants, levels that we can see that. So it'd be like all berries, like blueberries, raspberry, blackberries. Yes, consume it organic because otherwise the pesticides are like just like terrible. I would add um, I would add on top of that, like, wild caught fish. I would add like high quality meat, like grass fed meat. I would add like the filtered water, as I said, and you can do like, healthy carbs such as like sweet potatoes, stuff like that. Vegetables that I would add. I'm not the person who's against vegetables. I do not agree with that thing, like thinking that spinach is your,
Yeah.
like we have so many other things to avoid from other than that. So yeah, so it's like going back to basics, but like the proteins, the fruits and vegetables, our body needs the protein to flourish, to thrive, to succeed, for like his immune system, to build like his hair, his nails,
Collagen. Yeah.
and everything comes from that. So I do think that, but consuming like protein from real sources, not like ultra processed protein.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there? Are you in favor of trying to like have as many colors on your plate as
I
possible?
believe that colors are great.
Yeah. Okay. Great. What's your take on fasting, especially for women? Because
I do think fasting has some advantages. I do also believe that, um, so the thing is this, it's more important what you eat and what you don't eat versus just the fasting and not fasting. I am more of a person who believes that you need to finish eating early and then like let your digestive system rest and eat in the morning. And like as it goes by, the metabolism slows down, like use that for energy, not the other way around. But I don't think fasting, yes, we do see the immune system boosts itself, renews itself, cells can renew themselves. But again, it's very specific, and it's also for people that know what they're doing. And then if we're talking about intermediate fasting, I would just stop eating at 6-7 because I think that's the rest.
got
If we're
it.
talking about full day of fasting, you need to know what you're doing. You can just do that.
Yeah. So to connect to that, you then mentioned the digestive system, and you emphasize gut health quite a bit.
Yeah.
How do you see the gut microbiome specifically impact, skin health, the aging process as a whole? You mentioned it being 70% of the immune system. What is the role of gut health as far as aging and skin aging?
So basically, as we said, like 70% of your immunity is in your gut bacteria. So unbalanced microbiome is a lower immunity, is in predisposition for more diseases, can create inflammation in the body. You don't go to the bathroom sometimes as often, and you don't clear out toxins as efficiently. You feel more bloated, and that also impacts on your skin directly. So your skin can be impacted from your gut bacteria. It can be impacted from your hormones. It can be impacted from like everything.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, it has a direct correlation, which we know. A lot of the things is like, it's not for a reason it's called the second brain.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. And there is a study. So there is a company, granted that they do make products that are specifically for acne. So are they biased? Yeah, probably. They're called Crown Labs. It's one of the biggest companies in acne care. But they published a study. They showed that they basically smeared a bunch of Cutibacterium, which is C. acne bacteria, on people's faces. And people who were more predisposed, their immune system was more predisposed to then express itself in acne. You could have introduced just a little bit and they'll flare up, and people that they are not predisposed to get acne, whereas their immune system does not respond in a way which causes acne, you could have 1,000 times more bacteria spread on their skin and they will not develop acne, or at least it's not going to be as bad.
Interesting. But is that their immune system specifically responds to that? Because they could have a strong immune system and respond specifically to that, because immune
Correct.
system has different like things, and it's like
Correct.
there's people that are more, sensitive to viruses, bacteria.
Correct.
People that get healed very quickly. Like it's like immune system has different stuff, which makes sense. We do know that predisposition does play a role in that, and the end goes to the genetics. The 50% does determine that.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't remember if that was a flawed immune system or a sensitive or an overexpression of like mast cells or something like that through
Okay.
the immune system, or was it really their genetic predisposition to get acne? That's a great point. But I remember the conclusion, which was acne is immune system driven rather than specifically like a bacterial colonization, if you would. It's more
Super
like
interesting.
a reaction to the bacteria.
Would love to see that. Super
Yeah.
interesting.
So it's very interesting. Within that, talking about bacteria, are there certain probiotics, prebiotics, or fermented foods you believe are must for skin health? Obviously, for anything for gut health, but specifically that you saw expressing in the skin. And you can answer more generally. It doesn't have to be in the
Well, I
skin.
don't know if there's specifically, because I do feel that it changes. I do know there's like some ones that really work well for like people, and then it helps to like balance their gut bacteria, and then it helps their skin.
Yeah.
I do feel that it's a little bit more individual than what I like from what I've seen throughout the years. Like I have a few brands that I recommend that I love working. And of course there's like kefir and like sauerkraut and like kombucha, and there's a lot of great fermented food. But to tell you that it's always a direct correlation to tell you this one. So it's like you can
Yeah.
use different kind of prebiotics for like different situation, and also people will respond differently.
Do you recommend probiotics? Especially, there is now a craze around acromantia, right?
Yeah.
What is your take on taking acromantia or taking probiotics in general, or are you more in the camp of it's more not necessarily about the probiotics, but really about the prebiotics? Like, where do you stand there?
So I think it's, first of all, it depends. Okay. So when I see like clients one-on-one, when they're not in my groups, when I
Yeah.
see them. So first of all, we want to analyze the situation and we want to see what's going on. So they could come to me, and a lot of them, it's like they suffer from some sort of IBS, or like they get bloated all the
Yeah.
time. They flare up. So many times I don't start off with the probiotics. I actually start off with the food. And I want to see the response of the body to the food, their bowel movement. I want to see how their body, first of all, operates without anything, just solely
Yeah.
like good, high quality food. And then we can add on stuff as needed or whatever it is. But I don't feel that it's necessarily needed. But it could be that a person is like, he eats healthy, like his lifestyle is great, but I do feel that, okay, let's up it, like we can now, like I build it up by tiers, but like where's your starting point and what are you trying to get to. But like if someone comes to me and his system is all over the place, I first want to clear up, and then I want to build up on that. Not to just now, okay, let's bombard you with 7 different supplements. And then it's like, first of all, if his digestive system and microbiome isn't absorbing, so it's not being utilized and it's not converting into what it needs. And then B, how do I know what works? And then C, it could be that something like there's so many different things that comes to that. So I would start off with first seeing what the person needs. And then from that, it could be sometimes we need enzymes, sometimes we need a probiotics, but we need lower amount because it's like it's too sensitive and it will be overwhelming for a system. So it's like that's the thing when sometimes like people miss that point of like there's be individuality in a lot of things because
Yeah.
it's your genetic, your epigenetics, how old are you, what's your lifestyle, how stressed are you, what can you do, what are the changes and habits you can actually do, you know?
Yeah. If you have 7 kids and you're a
Yeah.
single mother, good luck.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like just as straightforward. I know everyone are looking for that, but
Yeah. And so, you mentioned skinny shots. You mentioned right now people looking for like a panacea.
Ozempic, vibe.
Ozempic. I mean, we obviously get a lot of people asking about Ozempic face, or now that we launched the body product, a lot of people asking about Ozempic butt.
Oh,
But
okay. I didn't know that, but
oh yeah, yeah.
Ozempic, but I don't.
To the
But
extent, so there is a company that is called Image. It's a pretty large company for professional skincare. So they've basically started a subsidiary company called Volulift, which
okay.
they're basically took a product that they've had forever that wasn't selling well,
And they
and
just
they
marketed
changed the name. It was like, oh, this is a specific product for when people are on skinny shots, basically. But first of all, and now the statistics that I've read, I don't know if it's true or not, that 1 out of 5 people in the United States is taking some kind of skinny shot. So whether it is, Ozempic, semaglutide,
then
tirzepatide,
Wegovy.
yeah, Wegovy, Mounjaro. How often do you see it? Do you see one? Maybe you see more than 1 out of 5 people because you see people who are interested in weight loss, maybe more.
Yeah.
And then what do you do with it?
So I'll tell you what. I do feel that, by the way, like a year ago, it was like every second person. I do feel that
Yeah.
now people understand that it's not so magical as it is. It doesn't work on everyone. You had a plateau. Side effects are horrendous. I think Ozempic are now facing a $2 billion lawsuit.
Wow.
Yeah, they deserve $20 billion lawsuit. But anyways, I'll tell you what. I have worked obviously with people much prior to Ozempic being for the entire
Yeah.
population, because it's for people with type 2 diabetes. Like the GLP-1 that actually helps with people that are metabolically broken. What do I think? I think it's terrible. I think is that it's a shortcut that comes with such a high price. I think that people don't realize what are the side effects. Like not even talking to you about the crazy side effects, but just talking about the fact that once you get off it, is that it puts you in a predisposition to, sorry.
No
to,
worries. This
to
could be edited out by the way. So
So it's like in a predisposition to get like diabetes, GI problems, GI like paralyze your stomach, pancreas cancer, problem in your liver. Like I had clients and friends that got the most horrific side effects from like
wow.
hospital, heart problems, liver problem. One of them, their liver almost crashed. Like,
Wow.
dude, they lost 30 pounds. Like, is it worth it? Like, see what you're talking about. Now, never mind. Let's not even go so far. Like the doctors don't even tell you that you literally need to use it for the rest of your life, because when you get off it, your hunger levels spike through the roof. Your metabolism gets messed up so badly. You lose the majority muscle mass, which is like impairing your longevity and your metabolism. And you haven't learned how to eat properly. And now you come back to reality, getting off it, and you gain weight like crazy. So
What
that's
would it?
like there's no shortcut. Like if you want to take that and use it as a booster, okay, you still need to do the job. You still need to eat healthy. You still need to learn how to cook. You still need to learn what to order at restaurants. You still need to work out. You still need to sleep well. You still need to do it all. You can use it as a Kickstarter, which you can.
Yeah.
Like the people who've done bariatric surgery.
Yeah.
You do it as a Kickstarter. But then if you're not following what you're supposed to be following, you're A, not going to lose weight, or B, you're going to gain it all back. So it's the same. It's now so easy. You don't need to go to surgery. You don't need to be evaluated. Every doctor prescribes it. They get tons of money from it. From them, it's the magic solution. They sponsor studies saying that it's good for your heart, it's good for
Yeah.
your cholesterol, it's good for all of the BS stuff. Which could be, because if you weigh 400 pounds and you lose weight, of course. But like, no, it comes with a price. Nothing comes free. And then the Ozempic phase is because you lose muscle mass.
Yeah.
You lose a lot of that fat.
Bone too.
You look like that, and then it's just
Yeah.
so many things, like, and by the way, never to talk about depression, anxiety, change of mood, change of behavior, like suicidal, like, ugh.
What would you say to a professional that says it's because it's overprescribed and it is overdosed, that it should be microdosed, and that way it is a positive adjunct? Do you think that there are microdose levels
Yeah.
that are kind of mitigating the bad effects and are kind of
Yeah.
helping? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think that you can take a microdose to help you, get out of the gate. Like you don't know where to start. You feel like you need a boost and then work. Like if you work with like a health professional, nutritionist, dietitian, someone who can guide you through and you're using it as an aid, I'm not against it. But again, it's like the majority of the people don't do that. The majority of the people are looking for the shortcut for the higher dose, the bigger weight loss.
Yeah. And I think what you said, and it almost connects to what you said about veganism, it doesn't really matter I would say like the choices of roads you're taking, but there is not going to be a road that actually requires less of you.
Exactly.
So if you're a vegan or if you're, whatever else, I don't know how many names we have already for diets, but whatever you are, you then need to become a better cook. You need to understand how to make your food at home or whatever that is, because now you need to have significantly, you're just more limited in your options, right?
Yeah.
And with with any skinny shots as well, do you direct people to then prioritize protein? Like, what are the?
Prioritize protein, and you need to do workouts and you need to do strength training because you don't want to lose basically,
Yeah.
your muscle mass, your bone density. I would prioritize healthy fats like avocado and nuts and whatever it is, also to replenish that and not to mess up their hormones completely.
Yeah.
Because fats are important as the founding start of hormones and everything else. So there's a lot of things that I would guide them through, and then also not to go on a crazy calorie deficit, because when you do go beneath 1,200 calories daily for a long period of time, you do mess up your metabolism, and at some periods it doesn't recover as efficiently, or it takes too long to recover. So there's a lot of things that I do advise them to do, and I do look a little bit further down. But listen, it's like it's also something that, like, I had someone that I know that had crazy side effects. She was
Wow.
hospitalized 5 times.
Wow.
5 times.
Wow.
She was
Wow.
only 3 months. And
You said she was only on it for 3 months?
3 months.
Wow.
Yeah. 5 times. And she's obviously off of it, but
Yeah.
she told me, I wish I could go back to it.
Wow.
And of course, I had a serious conversation with her, and we talked for an hour, and she came out looking at things differently. But that's the thing. It makes people think that this is the only thing that can help them. This is the only magic.
Yeah.
And that's got to do with so many things, like the media, the diet companies, the diet culture in America, convincing that obesity is genetic, convincing that diet needs to be perfect, that you need to fast, that you need to do crazy stuff, that you need to eat a salad and a chicken breast, all the stuff that, like, basically those diet industries, it's a billions of dollars industry, one of the most successful industries in America by far. And it's growing, and obesity is growing, and diabetes is increasing, and kids' obesity is growing.
Yeah.
But the diet industry is also growing. What does it tell you? That it's not
Yeah.
like working.
I don't, no pun intended, but they are feeding off each other.
Of course, they're feeding off each other. Like the food in the cafeteria, like Michelle Obama trying to make the cafeterias healthier and defining like pizza as a vegetable. So we're not talking here no politics. I don't care which side you are. Your kid's health should be in the priority.
Yeah.
Of your should be on the top of your priorities.
Yeah.
It's not a conversation about which party you're at. It's a conversation like, we need a healthier America. Our kids deserve better. You go out of this state and out of this country, and you travel to Europe, and everything actually has a flavor, and you don't get sick from gluten, dairy, la 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 la. You eat like we
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Yeah, and not to idolize. I mean, they do obviously other things poorly, but I think as far as like nutrition, it's incredible to see um, how financial incentive, which is incredible in the United States, how close to the decision making center, um, nutritional, whether it is nutritional additives or just food manufacturers are to this decision makers and their ability to invest money into legislature, really then transforms our society to a sicker and less, I would say,
Yeah.
to a
We shouldn't
poorer
have
society.
lobbyists, not pharmaceutical lobbyists.
Yeah,
They work together. We saw that. We know that. People are like, no, they have our best interests. I'm like, yeah.
yeah,
That's why when they had the oxy pandemic, they were the one that created the pandemic. They were also the one that created the rehab centers. Yeah.
yeah,
Just to put it out there. Very like
yeah,
very just not, it's not even conspiracy. It's just look at the things. Like, do you think that this is normal? Like where like how far changing the narrative has gone that like eating Lucky Charms considers to be like a good breakfast, that like, diet soda is normal, is like that.
yeah,
And then another thing that bothers me, the doctors and pediatrician, which I'm not going against doctors because I do think that there's
yeah,
so many things science and doctors are contributing to us. And I think like every profession, there's great professionals and there's not so great professionals, like everything else. And
yeah.
I do feel that the fact that doctors do not learn anything about nutrition and do give nutrition advices is problematic.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree. I
and,
agree. I
and
just, I mean, I saw someone on Instagram, and that would be, I mean, I'm not going to throw the person under the bus, but first of all, everything they say is like as an oncologist, an oncological practitioner,
I
and then
know
they say whatever they say. First of all, they are not a doctor. I'm not gonna. I just don't want to say who that is, but I'm
it
going
doesn't
to
matter.
say they're not a medical doctor, and they are. You look at their credentials. They've never learned. They didn't even have even one course in nutrition. Maybe they had a ChatGPT 5 course in nutrition. You know that there was nothing there. And the advice is accordingly, right? The advice has nothing to do with reality.
Yeah.
Yes, but Karin, I do want to talk about a big subject that I feel is also underrepresented and also very, very vulnerable to outside influence, which is women's hormonal health.
Yeah. And I'm gonna need to finish up soon.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I, what is your, you do work a lot with female hormones. How do hormones, like insulin, cortisol, estrogen, how much attention do you give those, and how do you see them affecting aging with people you take care of?
So it's a great question. We have about 9 hormones that critically like influence our body: estrogen, progesterone, insulin, cortisol, leptin, ghrelin. Like it's like there's a few things that goes into that equation, testosterone and whatever it is. When they're thrown off, it's got to do with everything, like more severe menopause, more severe PMS, fatigueness, brain fog, lack of sleep, lack of motivation. And it's something that we see. So when I started working with like women during menopause or 40 plus, it was like years ago, and it was very untouched topic. Now we see hormonal problems starting at even at an earlier age. And we see that like girls at the age of 9 get their period. It's not normal by no means. Yeah. Now that's got to do with the lifestyle we live. Plastic water bottles that mimic BP, like the BPA mimics like estrogen that like captures into like our cells and like estrogen. It got to do with the fragrance we're using, the body lotion, the shampoo, the bleach, the Clorox, like all of those disrupt our hormones. The Tide, like the laundry detergent we're using, skin, our biggest organ, it absorbs everything. So it's like it's a bigger thing. And those things affect your hormones completely. Now it became more of a conversation like hormonal disruptors and what does it do and da 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 da. And again, I would start it like slowly and gradually because it can be very overwhelming. Even for me, who's someone who lives a non-toxic lifestyle for many years, and I've been doing this for a long time, it's like it takes a minute. You need to like get rid of all the plastic. You need to
Yeah.
shoot the filtration system. There's no fragrance in the house. I haven't yet wore perfume for like 10 years. And I literally, I can't smell it. It gives me a migraine because I'm so sensitive to it.
Yeah.
It's
Things
like,
will
oh,
be the next smoking. Like people who
yeah,
enter elevators with like crazy strong
pull up.
perfume, in my opinion, it's going to be the next. It's going to be as perceived as obnoxious as someone come. Yeah.
Like smoking. So
Yes.
all of those things influence our hormones, obviously the food, but
Yeah.
it comes together. And once you remove that, and then obviously like people are like, yeah, girls get their period early because like there's like injected hormones into our food. True to a certain extent, but it's like it goes more further down why everything is so
Yeah.
interrupted. So I do feel that hormonal balance and women hormonal balance is one of the most hottest upcoming relevant popular trends topics that should be talked about much more. I do feel that it's kind of, I don't want to say neglected, but even hormonal, like the studies and the research on women's health is like allocates only 5% of the research for that, which is
Yeah.
like, it's nothing, which is like hormones, they're the big boss of our body. They like literally control everything.
Yeah.
So I do feel that's something that everyone should take more of a careful look and start understanding how you can start balancing it a little bit better and doing like small changes.
Yeah. Anyway, Karin, I feel we can talk a lot more, but I know you need to go. So maybe in the last couple of minutes, how do people learn more, like your credo and kind of the way that you view nutrition? How can people work with you, whether it is in groups or one-on-one?
So you can reach out to me. So you can visit my website at karinadoni.com. I do one-on-one. I do 21-day groups for weight loss. I do 21-day groups for hormonal balance, which is a combination of like healthy eating and removing all the hormonal disruptors. I do, longer programs of 90 days and etc. I do one-on-one with clients as well. And you can always leave us a message. We can, schedule a call with me or one of my team members. And then you can always follow me on Instagram and TikTok for Karin Adoni Nutrition, which I post daily. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of content going on. I try to make it as available and easy to understand. I know sometimes it can get overwhelming, but
Yeah.
this is what it is. And I promise you're going to get so many useful tips, information, swabs,
Yeah.
tips that it will, like literally I get hundreds of messages every day. I changed my entire house because of you. I lost weight. I feel so much better. Like every single day with people that I've never probably had a conversation with. So that's like my biggest, like it gives me so much satisfaction.
Yeah, I know. It's I mean, you're very influential, and it's a pleasure to see the content that you're putting out. In any case, yeah, we're gonna have everything in the show notes, and I really appreciate your time. And we're gonna have to bring you back because we didn't cover everything.
I would love to come back.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.